All right, here we go. All right, welcome to the October 9th meeting of the Académie Lafayette Board of Directors, meeting virtually. Everyone received the board folder, the board packet, and has seen the meeting agenda. So if I can get a motion to approve today's meeting agenda.
Motion to approve.
Moved.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second, Jen.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed?
Aye.
All right, it's approved. We're starting with stakeholders' comments. Before we get with that, Brian, just give me a second. Is Jessica on here?
She is not yet. I will take minutes until we see her.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Yep.
All right, stakeholders' comments. We've got Brian Hand. And Brian, I think I'm looking out my dining room window at your old house, actually, by the way. So, so you have 3 minutes. I know you've got a couple of topics to talk with, and I'll keep time and try not to be too brutal, but we'll watch the time limit. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate the time that you guys are allowing me here. I'm on here for to keep a promise to several teachers, past teachers mostly. As some of you know, maybe you don't, my family and we have hosted teachers since my son was in kindergarten. He's now in 7th grade. We've hosted around a dozen different teachers when they come in. We've helped them get their apartments. We've helped them get cars. We've put tons of miles on our vehicles. This isn't to be self-congratulatory. This is just to give you a little background about why I'm here. We've hosted interns, 2 in 1 year. Last year, hosted 2 the previous year, 1 for summer, 1 for the school year. We're invested in Académie Lafayette. We're invested in the future of this school. We have been. I haven't always agreed with things, and I won't always agree with things. And I'm here because I think there's a problem, and I think there's a big problem. Many of the teachers that I have talked to, we have, let me step back another second with that. We've also coordinated the getting furnishings for literally dozens of teachers over the years. I can't even count as many. When we unfortunately had the teacher pass away last year, we helped clean out her apartment. And so we are really emotionally invested in the lives of our teachers in this school. And I think that they are in a very bad position. Many teachers, as you know, we had 18 teachers come last year. Many left. Many have already left. Why does this school have such a problem with teacher retention? I think it's a leadership problem. And I think it's at the very top of the leadership within the school. I also think there are some principals that have had problems over the years and currently may have problems. I'm calling on the board tonight to put in place a policy that every teacher that leaves Académie Lafayette has an exit interview with a disinterested third party where they can feel open and able to say why they're leaving. I know many have spoken to me because they are in fear. They are in fear of having issues with their visa, because when you're speaking out against somebody in a position of authority over you that has the control of your visa that can make or break you, it's a bad situation. Some teachers leave some teachers put up with it. I've had many teachers over the years tell me that they have had leadership in the school tell them they would help them with situations only to blow them off over and over and over again. We took a year off from helping to do this, to get the furnishings for teachers. As I said, 18 teachers last year. Why are we doing that when they're going to leave after a year? Why is teacher retention so bad? So not only with the policy change that I'm asking about for a third party to do exit interviews, I would also like to see the board put in place some kind of a hotline. I know I work for a big corporation that has a hotline that I can call, an ethics hotline, where I can make complaints against my leadership and my management if there's a problem without fear of retribution or retaliation. I don't know that there is one at Académie Lafayette. So I would like the board to also take a look at turnover. Which campuses have the biggest amount of turnover and why? So ask yourself, why are teachers leaving certain campuses, going to other campuses? Why is staff leaving certain campuses and going to other campuses? It's uncomfortable. It's not fun, but I think it's necessary. There are great principals. There are principals I'm not too happy with. There's leadership at the very top. As I said, that's not hard to figure out who that is. But teachers are afraid and they need to have a voice. 2 years ago, the 5th grade class had a revolving door of teachers, and we can blame that on COVID. We can blame it on a lot of things. But I will tell you this, that class is still having problems to this day. There are problems at the 7th grade class. Most of the kids, and a lot of them are the ones that were at Oak with my son, that had that 5th grade class issue where we had a revolving door of teachers and no continuity throughout the year. Leadership has failed our kids. Leadership has failed the teachers. Karen Onrio left a couple years ago, 20 years at Académie Lafayette, and she went out with a bang in a meeting. And if her words didn't resonate, they should. There are other teachers that have been long tenured I've spoken to since they've left. They all say the same thing. It's a leadership problem. There are issues. There are great people at Académie Lafayette, great staff. I gotta say, Alix, Jesse, amazing. I've had no problems with the support staff at Académie Lafayette. Some teachers, maybe, but there are differences of opinions. But it all comes down to leadership. Buses, leadership issue. We have got to fix the leadership of Académie Lafayette. And I hope that the board can see fit to do that. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Brian. As you know, we don't respond with any responses unless anybody has any questions that need clarification. Then for us to, anybody on the board, any board members have any questions for any additional clarification?
I'd be more than happy to answer any questions anyone has, either here or offline.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. We're going to move forward now with the approval of the meeting minutes from last month. So we had our regular board meeting September 11th, and then the special board meeting September 26th, where we approved the purchase of the buses, the loan and CD for the purchase of the buses. So if I can get a motion, I believe I can one motion to approve both sets of minutes.
I'll put a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I second. This is Lauren.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Minutes are approved. Let's move into, I did see Brandy jump in. Let's move forward with the PTO report from Brandy.
Hello,
Hi.
Brandy Molina, the PTO president. I don't have any formal agenda to talk about tonight, just a general update. We've been moving along with our fall events. We've done a playground mixer at Oak and Cherry, which is welcome to all students and parents. We've had one PTO meeting. We will have our second meeting in December. We have Boo Bayou coming up October 21st. And we're going to go back to announcing the raffle ticket winner at that event. So that'll be kind of fun. We're having a middle school dance. And we did, I think I emailed the budget to Stephen because we did approve our budget in September. So Stephen, if you didn't get that, let me know and I can email that to you and Marcia. And then we are going to have trivia night, which is our first, one of our bigger fundraisers that we do. We are also we just wrapped up trash bag fundraiser. We also met today with the new development director, Allison. Several parents got together that have run the event in the past or assisted with the event in like larger ways. And so we met today and that was a great meeting and passing on all of our information to her. And she's going to reach out to people, follow up with questions. And if there's, certain things that we can help her with. So there might be some volunteer roles that come out of that meeting. So yeah, we're just rolling along with the year and trying to do our community engagement events and communicate with room parents and do all those things. Is there anything in specific that you wanted me to speak to?
I don't have anything. Does anyone have any questions for Brandy while we've got her?
No questions, just I appreciate the work that you continue to do to sort of get parents engaged in meaningful ways. I know as we look at sort of surveys from our parents, one of the things that we see is not everybody feels a sense of belonging. So I think that the work that the PTO is doing to really create community at our school is critical to our success. So I appreciate everything you do.
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you. And there should be some more information. We'll be pushing out information about Boo Bayou, which is of course one of our biggest family events. So that's free to everybody.
Always a good time.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. Thank you, Brandy.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll move into governance. Beth.
Yep. So a couple things. One, we are in a parent election year. You might remember every 3 years, we elect a new parent-elect position. We currently have 2 on our board, Jen and Lauren. So thank you all for your sort of leadership on the board. We have already started to put in the newsletter, just letting parents know that will be coming. But in February is when it will officially launch and we'll start sort of talking about what are the requirements of board members and the process for electing it, which goes through the council to Cole. So they help us to identify the top candidate. So we're looking forward to sort of launching that and you'll see more information in second semester. Any questions about the parent-elect position? The other piece you all will remember 2 years ago, we were part of the Black KC, their draft, which is how we got TJ. Thank you, TJ, for joining our board. One of the things that we definitely struggle with is keeping a balance between community members and parents. We are definitely getting very parent heavy, and we have numerous parents that have reached out who have some really strong skills that we need on the board that are interested in joining. So Black KC helps us to really reach out to the community to identify community members to be a part of the board. The struggle that I talked with Michelle and Mr. Mbang about is just the time commitment and getting to know all of the candidates, attending the happy hours. So really just wanted to think with this group, it is hard for one person to sort of lead being the Académie Lafayette representative. So I'm just curious if others feel they could support, one, if you think we should be a part of it. So I think that's the first thing that I would love feedback on. And two, if others would be willing to attend an occasional happy hour so that we don't have one person who has to be at all of the things. They typically host something once a month for their process. So thoughts from the board, and Michelle, anything else you would add in regards to that?
Nope, that's good.
Thoughts on if you all, one, think we should be a part of the draft?
I think it's a great idea.
I thought you might agree, TJ.
I think so too. I think it's good.
Right. Would other people be willing to help? Like, could we share their calendar of events and identify, and it might be once every 4 months, right? If we have 3 or 4 people who are willing, are there others who might be willing to attend an occasional happy hour? Because that was the piece that definitely got overwhelming, I would say. And yet a critical piece to really get to know the candidates and identify who's a fit for Académie Lafayette. Do I have people who would be willing to sort of help take that on?
Beth, I'll volunteer for that. I can attend.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes, I'd
Sure.
also be open to attending as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. And I can be there some, I know Michelle. So yes, I think we have enough to move forward, because I do worry about our balance of parent and community. So I think it's a good initiative to be a part of.
Yep. Great. Anything else, governance?
I don't think so.
I think we're on to finance, aren't we? That's you, Stephen. It's all you.
All right. If you want to advance to the next slide there. So we had at least 4 transactions noted in the finance packet. We didn't discuss any additional transactions in the finance committee. No other transactions were identified, but I did want to highlight the AL Real Estate SPE payment. That's our monthly rent payment for the Armour property. We're paying that via any bill now, so it won't show up in the operating bank transactions anymore. It'll be on that any bill transaction tab. So just as a FYI on that. Did anyone have any questions over the accounts payable transactions as they look through the packet?
Nope.
If not, we'll need a motion to approve the September 2023 accounts payable transactions.
So moved.
Second.
This is Gwen. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other questions, discussion? All right, motion passes.
All right, next slide is the financial statements. And so the SUI financial statements for August, from a cash in, cash out perspective, we received more than we spent by $13,000. So if you look at that cumulatively for the last 2 months, July and August, we spent more than we received though, by $60,000. So it's still the beginning months, and I expect us to be spending more than we receive at least for the first several months, and then we should break even more towards January is what I would expect. So nothing alarming there from my standpoint. Next slide is the EdOps financial statements that they prepare. Don't really have any highlights there for you this month. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, or if you have anything tonight too, I'm more than happy to answer as well. Next slide for me. Just as some other miscellaneous items. So during September, we negotiated the purchase of 4 buses totaling $250,000. Initially, we were thinking 270 is what they had as the sticker price. We again negotiated that to 250, and so the buses were delivered on the 28th with temporary tags, so they could at least drive on the streets, which is really good. Nina coordinated the Missouri bus inspection though that Friday, the 29th, and the buses ran Monday, so really happy about that. We're working to get those buses titled though before the end of the month. Next slide. And part of that bus purchase, we did close, or we're closing on the cash secure loan of $250, and so after close, the bank will transfer $250,000 from the school's repo account into a CD, and then we'll get reimbursed for that cashier's check that we cut at the very end of September. Next slide. We looked at the district operating transportation during the finance committee, and to run the 7 routes where we're tiering 3 of them, which is the plan, it costs roughly $450 per route, $442. For student charges, $420 per route plus fuel, and the fuel's over $3 a gallon. So with 7 routes to help cover Cherry, we're spending approximately $114,000 more than what we had originally budgeted. And of course, $50,000 of that's tied to the loan that we just took out. So just want to make sure we're aware of that. We'll be deficit spending, at least from that standpoint, but we have some other areas that help fund that. So I'm not too concerned about that at this point in the game. But we are looking at additional contractors at this point, scratching the surface on that. So definitely something to consider about for student, just since, we were promised 9 routes in June and we're down to 1 essentially at Oak. So it's really an issue there, and we know about it, and we're trying to solve that problem. Next slide.
I would just say, I appreciate all of the work that the whole team is doing figuring out this issue. I know it's an issue that is not unique to Lafayette. It is something that everybody struggles with and so difficult to solve. And so even though, yes, we have to sort of potentially spend more on busing than we anticipated, I think it's the right thing to do to serve our families in the way they deserve. So I know it is a very frustrating process for everyone involved, and appreciate everything the team is doing to sort of move in the right direction.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Next item, I just wanted to, this is also something, I'll go back a slide there, Elmon. Just another thing that we talked about in finance committee was some capital items. And so the armor renovations, the second floor music room, Tim's estimating that will be ready next Monday. Tim's our general contractor. So the space will be ready for students next Monday is what he's anticipating. We budgeted to spend $130,000 this year. I'm expecting the total cost this year to be $110,000. So we should be a little bit under budget there, which brings up the next item here on the slide, and that's the Cherry parking lot drain. Go back a slide for me, Elmon. The Cherry parking lot drain, it's become somewhat of a safety hazard. And so we've gotten 2 bids there, almost $18,000 and then $27,000. So we're planning to use the savings from the 205, 206 music room capital repairs there, use the savings to cover the capital repairs. So just wanted to let you all that item that we're kind of just shifting some things around in the capital budget lines. And then last item that I wanted to talk about was the DESE basic formula update. And this is something that we've talked about previously. If you want to go to the next slide there, Elmon. We touched on this last month as well, similar discussions. But one additional thing that we talked about in finance committee was, it'd be good for us to get back to the outreach that we were doing pre-pandemic and have like an aggressive campaign to fill seats. And the reason we say that is we're down 21 students from what we had budgeted. And what that looks like, if we're at 92% attendance rate, then we'll be under budget by $114,000. And so something that we need to keep an eye on. Number one, the students we need to backfill or fill seats.
Mhm.
And then also, encourage attendance as well to get towards our historic 95%. Because if we get closer to 95%, then we'd be at a surplus of $350,000. So quite a big swing there, just those 3 percentage points on attendance. So just wanted to update you on basic formula as well.
And we did talk in finance committee meeting about some of the ways to address that, because we know you got to have buses to get people to school to help the attendance, and that weighs in, but also some of the enrollment and how we fill those kindergarten seats. All right. Any other questions for Stephen? Okay.
Thank you.
Development committee. Oh, wait, is there another thing? There, development committee with the new development director. Allie, you're
Hi.
on.
Hi. Perfect. Thanks for adding the latest today, Mr. Bang. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited. This is my very first Académie Lafayette board meeting as a staff member. So thanks. I'm excited. Stephen's report was nice and beefy. I will make mine good like that next time. I'm 10 days in, so I'll use that as my excuse. So we've already had a development committee meeting. Development committee meeting last week. Wonderful group. I appreciate everyone's time for this. I hope everyone has seen the updates on the cash raffle. Our original goal was $90,000. We hit that on 10/4, so last Wednesday, with still 2.5 weeks to go. So as of today, we have a little less than 2 weeks. We are at 117,000, and we have hit we are making a new stretch goal of 125,000. I didn't add this in here, but we are averaging about $4,000 to $5,000 a day so far on our raffle sales. I expect that to drop a little bit due to some of the incentives that were there up front to really hit our goals originally. But regardless, I don't think we're going to have a problem, honestly, hitting 125, which is pretty exciting and absolutely the best the school has done in history. So huge kudos to Alik Slasker for all she has done on this. She is, single-handedly running this campaign up until 10 days ago, and she has just knocked it out of the water. Got 58% of the students have participated. 560 of our students have sold enough tickets to get a raffle shirt. And then just, fun fact, we've got tickets sold in all 50 states in the United States. So some good work going on there. And it's just been really exciting to have this be, honestly, one of the first things I've been able to walk into at Académie Lafayette and see some excitement around from an official staff member standpoint. So I am looking forward to what that means for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think it's great because I think it's not only the most money raised, but I think it's the most student participation that we've seen in history. So just fantastic.
Yes. So Alexa's done wonderful.
The comparison, what were we at the last year or two?
Yes, absolutely. So I believe last year we totaled, our gross was 81,000. And that took, that was a 6-week fundraiser. This year we did 90,000 goal, 5 weeks. And we still have, 10 days, I believe, or so left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is even more than the pre-pandemic levels. I know, Stephen, you had you have a chart of kind of what was raised over the past 5 years, and this is like above and beyond everything.
That's awesome. Nice work.
Yes, fun to see.
Mhm.
Okay, the 25th anniversary celebration, I might have to lean on Mr. Bang a little bit here. I know we are in the early stages of brainstorming ideas. He had a couple of prior staff members that he was going to meet with and work through what this celebration can look like.
Yeah, we're still at the stage of putting in place the committee with founding board members and faculty and staff and also alumni to start the process.
Awesome.
So the state grant is a grant we applied last school year. Unfortunately, we did not get it this year. The governor decided to increase it and provide more grant for school safety. So we received $150,000 school safety grant. It will be used to help some of the building to fortify the doors, especially at Oak, where the doors are really, really old and not really secured. Primarily, if we have enough money, we will also build a secured entrance like we did at Cherry. At Oak, we have a secured entrance, need to use it properly. We want to do the same thing for Cherry and Armour to make sure that there's an entrance where somebody can get to us at a certain place, but will not be able to get to the building unless they pass in.
Right.
So, school performance committee report. So the committee met more than a week ago and discussed all this data and asked questions, as I said, and also request more information. We're going to talk about, this is socioeconomy is a free and reduced lunch. This is the preliminary data. We may have more update for next month, because October core data will be on the 15th, I think, and by then probably we'll have more parents filling in their paperwork. So that's where we are at this, I would say a week ago. So that's something. Unfortunately, our goal is to get to 30%, but hopefully by the time we count, everybody will be at least the way we were before. Otherwise, it's hard to, as I said, it's hard to identify who is free and reduced or no to target them. One thing we're doing also to look at that and to look at who are the students who are leaving and why. If they're free and reduced or no, we will talk about it. Any question about this? So this is the teacher retention. As you see, it is the last 3 years that we have. In 21-20, you see fall 21, fall 22, and fall 23. What you can see is in fall 23, there is a lower retention rate as compared to the previous years. And you have by buildings here, each buildings. So we also have, as I said, every year, our goal is to get in the next 5 years, as I said, to 90%. We have been around 84, 86%. There are different ways different reasons why teachers leave. We will talk about it because contrary to what was advanced, we have different ways to know who is leaving and when. And we ask, the exit interview is sent by Jessica, who is in charge of our human resource. And when she collects the data, that's what we presented to the board. Any questions before I move forward?
What percent of exiting teachers do respond to the exit survey?
Is Jessica here? What do you have here? Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. Maybe, do you want me to answer that question?
Yes, go ahead.
Maybe half.
Okay.
We could probably be more aggressive about getting that from them, though.
So we have two instruments to collect why they want to leave. In February, we sent what is called intent to leave, or we send an intent to leave to see who wants to leave, who planning to leave, not to come back. And they fill in the form and send it and say why they want to leave. They're not coming back. That's what you have on your left. On the right is in May, once they left, when we know who left, and then we send them, Jessica send them and collect those with comment and everything they put. That's what you have here. As you see, we have one who has been non-renewed and 3 relocation, visa issues 1. Finally, it was 2 because we have another teacher who has a visa issue we're not able to get back. There are 2 who left the profession doing something else. And 2 cited working conditions. They're not happy with the working conditions. And 1 moved to another district. The survey also, if you see the difference is here, better pay. There's 1 who said they needed better pay.
Okay.
So one of the things that we did talk about in our committee is that we do need to be more assertive, or we do need to reach out a little stronger on really digging out why they are leaving. I think that's kind of a delicate balance of how you do that, but you do it from a growth mindset, in that we really do want to get better, and it will help us to know those reasons. So that's one of the things that we discussed with LMA.
I would agree, because it was definitely worrisome as we look at the data, because I do think our school is who we are because of our teachers. And so I know there's a lot of work that Eliman is doing, both to understand why teachers are leaving and to create the culture that we need that makes teachers excited about working in the classroom, though it's a really tough thing to do right now, right? It is a difficult environment in a lot of schools for many reasons. And so it's a tough issue to figure out, but I agree. It's something that we need to focus very closely on in order to really continue to move in the right direction.
One thing, though, I think I said our goal is to get to 90%. We're, I think last year, I would say an outlier. We'll see what's going to happen next year, if it's a trend or no. I mean, people leave for different reasons. We lost 1 teacher in the summer. Why? Because she was given a better job to leave. I mean, we cannot replace it. We had a teacher who we lost last summer for visas. Fortunately, she's back. I mean, we have teachers who left our school thinking that was not the best work environment. And I know of at least 3 who want to come back after going somewhere else and realize that what we offer here is we're not perfect, but we have made tremendous efforts to increase the salary. And for the last 5 years, we increased salary 3 times or more than that. We are as competitive as a school district now, and we continue to do it. It's the only school providing 2 planning time. And nobody will say, I don't need resources. We provide all the resources that nobody gets. It's the only school giving $700 budget to our teachers. So it is, the visa issue is sometimes an issue. Some people, remember, we have, contrary to the school district, we have foreign teachers who have to, some of them have to go back to their home country for visa issue or because they don't have the detachment. So, but still, 86, 85% is along the line of Missouri's retention rate. So maybe we can do better, and that's what we want to do. Now, granted, there are some teachers who are not happy about the working conditions, but I'm so happy to have whoever want to interview them and write it down.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that. It's complete transparency. I don't get involved. That's why I asked Jessica to do it. And that's what we have. I show it to the board. We don't have anything to hide about teacher retention. We want our teachers to stay here. We offer the best what we can. We need to make improvement for professional development. It has been a hard issue to address. So this is what we're planning to do, to define, as I shared with also the district performance committee, we have a strategic goal for every building and for the school also, and then how to get to 90%, to define annual retention goals and with action plan. We've also started already teacher advisory committee that will be meeting with me every month. There's 6 teachers. 4 of them were elected by the teachers. So it's just like what we used to have. We used to have what is called a teacher representative. It was 2 teachers representative. If you remember, those who have been here long enough, I met with them every month. They share their concern. Any concern that is relative to the management, we try to find a solution. Any concern that's about governance, we brought it to the board. That's what we've done for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
But a few years ago, no other teacher wanted to do it. There was no volunteer to become teacher representative. So this time what we did was try to change, because maybe the work was too heavy for 1 or 2 people. We tried to say, okay, let's say we have 4 schools, everybody will elect 1. And then the head of school will choose 2, depending on what we need is missing. For instance, if you need a founding teacher or for whoever needs to be representative, if the teachers elect, for instance, all 4 French teachers, and we need a couple of English teachers. So that's how we do that. And then we meet every month. And those teachers are the same on the Conseil d'école. And to give some incentive, it's now compensated, which we did not do before. I mean, how many schools compensate teacher rep? So we do it for people to be there. And again, I say the professional development committee will be set up to make sure that we address teachers' needs. It's going to be a hard one anyway. We also administer teacher survey. It's shared with the board. We discussed making it deeper and including some sections, because the first 2 we did, the first 2 years, we left it to Panorama to just survey our teachers, which was not in line with what we wanted. Now we have 6 section for the teachers that will be surveyed, and that we'll do a preliminary survey in October probably, and then another one in the spring. So, and all those data are shared with the board. Yes.
When is the professional development committee going to be established?
By the end of this month.
Okay. And then on administering the teacher survey, is that the Panorama?
Yes, Panorama.
Okay. So that's independent, that's third party. The exit interviews, those currently are not independent third party?
No, exit interview was done by our HR coordinator.
The HR coordinator, okay.
I think in any business, that's how it works. Unless you guys find of another model where you get a third party. This is a district that functions and with its strengths and weaknesses and areas to address. And I think that for those who have been here long enough, know that the board and the school have made a lot of efforts to support our teachers. There are some people who will leave because also conflict exists everywhere. At the end of the day, what we want to see is it a healthy conflict or now? Is it based on individual or now? Some losses are huge losses that we don't want to lose. For instance, as I said, some people we don't want to leave, but some circumstances happen. Some other losses also are good losses, because if you have a toxic somebody coming to destroy your culture, it's good that they leave. That's something that we need to have a courage to say. And because it completely destroys the culture, and it's good that they leave. But some losses we don't want them. We want to keep them. I want to make sure that, and one way to keep them also to know what are the areas of growth, what they want to be. Because if somebody want to grow and do something else, encourage them.
Right.
We encourage internal promotion. All our vice principals almost come from internal principals, internal promotions, and we've even done one of our teachers to be to get his administrative certificate and paid by while being paid by the school. Let's think that we do, again, compared to any other district, you won't have it.
No, I think there are a lot of great things, and while you've got a retention goal that is higher, your retention statistics right now, aren't bad. Yeah, we're seeing that. We're seeing a little dip. You're addressing it. I think we all love seeing that the advisory committee has been created, and so there are more, more voices. And I'm glad that teachers are wanting to be on that again. That's great. On the teacher survey, or I guess I'm bouncing back to the exit thing. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen. I don't know in education, and you and Gwen, and they're probably Beth may know more about this. I do know, in companies it can go both ways, where it's internal, but then you also get external, a third party to do them, so that people, so that they can be anonymous and they can get feedback, and sometimes that gives you some of the things that people may not be as bold to say directly. So I think it's something just to look at. Does that make sense for us? Is it the right environment for that? Like I said, I'm not completely sure what the norm is in education. I don't know, Gwen, if you do, or Beth.
It's not something I've been involved in, since we're sort of an external nonprofit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how our districts that we work with handle that.
Yeah.
And I can definitely take a look at that. I've not been a part of what an external might look at. I do know that one of the things that the three of the committee talked a little bit about was those action plans being more in depth and really address what was in the control. So let's not focus on the things that, a family reason or whatever.
Right.
Let's focus on working conditions or resources not there, or pay. Let's kind of be smart and kind of dig a little bit deeper. And I think that culture will, if teachers really think we're looking at that and we really want to know, they'll respond.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we have to get it out of this mindset that throwing a survey in a piece of paper, at people all the time. I'm just telling you, in this day and age, it just doesn't work. We've got to get back to face and having what I call crucial conversations.
Yeah. And I do think that advisory committee, and I like that teachers have been, nominated from within teachers. And so I think that is a good step toward it, toward those face-to-face discussions.
Absolutely.
Well, we do that. Our principals attended the training series with that was paid by by School Smart Casey. It's a 2-year, and they do a meeting teacher by teacher starting in state. They call it state meeting, is meeting and then see what would help them stay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that is being done. The thing is, schools are another complete beast, but at least I think the great thing we have is we have great teachers who have been here for a long time and stay and do a fantastic job, continue to do it. We have a very good leadership stability too. Okay, it's very good. That's why we accomplished what we've accomplished anyway. Prior to me coming here, it was 3 years you out. That's how it worked. 3 years you out.
But that deeper dive of action plan should kind of vet out who are we losing in those first 3 years versus who are we losing in those 10 to 20 years. And to me, those are different stories.
Yes, one thing.
And those are one of the things that we talked about.
Yeah, one thing I think I shared with the board last year was how did we come up with action plan on the strategic plan? Last year, we did a focus group, or I would say the whole school, every building. We took the time to ask teachers to list anything that they would love to improve in the school by grade level. And then after grade level, it came back to the building and asked is, it was not change, it asked is we put it on a spreadsheet, and every building leadership team met and bring down the top 5 concerns the teacher raised in each building. After that, we had a meeting with teachers. Every building designated, I think, 2 or 3 teachers. We met to discuss the action item for teachers, working condition, and so on. And once we done it, we classified, come up with 5 things. And of those 5 things, we've already started implementing it. The teacher advisory committee is one of them. The salary increase is one of them. Hiring behavior interventionists on top of with one thing was one of them. We did it at Oak. Okay, so those action items was not done, did not come up from the leadership. It came from bottom up. That's how we did it.
Good discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Student retention. This is what we have. Since the COVID, we're not able to get back to the 93%, 95%. We're in the 86, 87. So that I guess this is something that again we need to work in and make sure that we get to our 95%. Now remember, we're not comparing apple to apple, because if you see 86% is the huge attrition rate between 8th grade and 9th grade with the new high school. So that's why you have it here. It's not as deep as this one. It's around 8%. So this is again including the 60% or 7% that we're losing between 8th grade and 9th grade. That's why it's high here. So prior to that, you don't have that. Okay? Because remember that it's in 2019, 2020 that we started the high school. That's why you have this complete this. This is the retention by grade level, K8, so that you can kind of compare apple to apple. You see, the green one is without the K8. The purple one is the K8. You see that there's a difference of 5 points between the two, if you don't include the high school. I mean, especially the going from 8th grade to 9th grade, retention rate. So the K1, K1 is still get some work to be done there. The good thing is first grade to second grade has improved a lot. And second to third grade is 95%. Third grade to fourth grade is the lowest, I think, and so on. And then another transition time class is from fifth grade to sixth grade. There's also some attrition from seventh to eighth grade, which we need to look into that.
Elaine, thanks for creating this chart. I think it really, really shows a better picture of what's happening with retention.
So we do it by STCT also. Again, remember the 86 is the whole K-12. We're not doing only the K-8. So if you look at the 75% of Asian, you're talking about if you have 10 and lose 3, you have that's mainly the lower number. But the one we need to be focusing on is the black one, black attrition, 77 retention. And we can look into that after. And what we see is probably later on, but we can talk about later on the slides. Any question about this?
No question, but I agree. The sort of the lower percentage of our Black students is definitely where you need to dig into with buildings to understand sort of what's going on there.
Yeah, we are. So the information I've been shared with buildings, and the admissions and outreach coordinator director will be calling, and then the principal and vice principal calling those who left and talk to them. Normally, we have also an exit survey for parents who left. Before they leave, they need to fill it in, and sometimes they don't. But it's important to talk to somebody to hear it from them.
I agree. I think that the right place to focus is having conversations with people to understand. Yeah. So why did they choose to leave? Because I think we'll get much better information from those kinds of conversations versus completing a survey.
Socioeconomic. This is the retention rate again for the whole K-12. Free and reduced at 84.4, reduced lunch 83.3, and then non-free and reduced 86.75. So again, well, the key takeaway is the lower retention rate from 8th grade to 9th grade. And then you have also low retention rate at the Oak building, mainly due to a high attrition of Black students. So this is where also we need to look into what was the impact of the transportation last school year, and so on. So that's where we need to look into that too. There is more. If you look at the retention rate at Oak and at Cherry, the white retention rate is almost like pre-pandemic. It's 4%. The attrition rate is around 4%, 45%. The white retention rate again is 95 to 96% for K5. I'm saying. So that, but the issue is the minority one, especially Black. That's at Oak. That's where we have more attrition. Cherry is higher, but it's still relatively fine. There are some work to be done there for I'm talking the Black attrition rate.
Mm-hmm. Which is very worrisome to hear. So I think it will be critical to better understand that issue and make sure we can improve upon that.
Mhm.
So the focus then it would be on the K2 and the 8th grade to 9th grade for retention. So I should say that the 1st grade to 2nd grade is better than what we expected. We need to continue to do that. The issue is, I think, especially 3rd grade to 4th grade have been higher. Now, it's important to know also what's happening nationwide in terms of enrollment that is down.
Mhm.
And also in the state. Any questions, concern, ideas, suggestions, and area to investigate?
No, I think you guys are honed in on the right things to dig
Again,
into.
just to conclude that as a board, my principle of leadership is total transparency. And the board is in charge of overseeing. There's every area you think that a specialist can look at it, I'm open to that. There's nothing to hide at all. That's how I function. And probably that's why I'm here 11 years later, because I don't play politics. I don't get involved in things that hiding something. It's no surprise. It's the rule of no surprise. Whatever I have as information, whether it is great, I inform my board, whether it is something that needs to be improved, also inform it. That's what we do.
Thank you.
Head of school, teacher, staff recognition.
Mhm.
So Cherry is recognizing Marie-Catherine Marchand. She has welcomed 20+ lead to reading mentors into her classroom. So those are parents. Lead to Read is an organization, and they come there at, I think, at noon to read with kids during the lunchtime. It's extra work for her, but kids love having their own reading buddies. So, well, at this point, we're doing it for one class. Hopefully, when they have enough people, they'll do it for the rest. Parent Bader for Oak and Basiru Jau. Parent Bader has been sending positive and daily communication to her parents in order to inform them about their child's academic progress and behavior. Very warm and caring teacher. Basiru is a very dedicated and professional staff member. As a new teacher at ALE, he has shown a great desire to learn and make progress in his profession. Very passionate learner. And Kevin at Armour serves as Armour's day and night custodian. He has excellent work ethic and is phenomenal at his job. The administration, staff, and students all appreciate his devotion to cleanliness and the well-being of others. He brings a whole new shine to buffing floors. Yes, he's amazing. And for the leadership recognition, Stephen Livingston, for his tremendous work on securing the additional buses and budgeting for transportation and expansion to Cherry. So he has been really extremely helpful and working hard in the absence of a director of operation, and very readily helpful and helpful.
And his negotiation skills. Too.
Thank you, Stephen. And Marsha Berry for using part of her Saturday to help finalize the state teacher retention grant. We had a retention grant and we had a deadline to submit the report, and she accepted to come on a Saturday to finalize the report. Thank you so much, Marsha. You're out.
Yeah, we really appreciate that you do that recognition and let them get that recognition, and we love hearing about all of that stuff. All the stuff.
So for the transportation, we received our 4 new buses. We thought they would take longer to be inspected and put in service. Fortunately, it took only 1 day, and the next Monday they started in service. Now routing and rerouting and getting organization to make sure all kids are being transported. That's what we're still doing. We have 6 buses running. Because remember, last year we bought 7 buses, and this 4. Normally we should have had 11 buses. But all the 4 big buses we bought last year were really junk. They're all at the mechanic. And then there's one of the small bus that has minor issue, but will be back. So at the end, we'll be having 7 buses running. We're trying to also repair the other 2 buses because we need 9 buses. And I'll explain it later. So 5 of those old buses have mechanical problems. We're waiting for the result of our Clean Bus grant application. Remember, we applied for Clean Bus and hope for federal grant. It's a federal grant. Hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. If you have 4 of those clean buses, they will be replacing our 4 big old buses, the diesel one. So that's why we cannot dispose of them. We have to keep them until we know what's happening with because it's a swap. It's a swap, so we have to keep them. Well, we have still a couple of drivers applications. I think I can say we don't have at this point a driver's issue, but the bus issue. We have 6 buses running, working, but we only need 5 routes at this point for each building. However, this is where we are. For those applied, initial application, meaning before school start, Armour had 164 applications for bus service, and Cherry had 157. Currently, we have at Armour 174, so 10 more. And we still have the 157 application for bus services. We're serving at Armour the initial 164. We need to add another 10 students. Cherry, for the first week, we started a couple of weeks, we started slow, we're serving 75, there's 82 that will be added slow by little in the buses so that it works. Because remember, we're doing touring, and if we add everything at the same time, we may be having routes of 2 hours or 3 hours. We need to know, make sure it's understood. So what we are targeting at this point is to drop off at Armour earlier, because some of our buses at Armour arrives at 7:45, which is not enough. So we want them to drop at between 7:15 and 7:30. It's just like what we used to do a few years ago. And most public schools also start at 7:20, but 7:15 and 7:30. So we want to make sure that at Armour we have enough people for supervision of those kids who arrive at school before 7:30. And so that these buses can go and service Cherry much earlier. We want them to arrive at Cherry between 8:15 and 8:30. So now what our game plan is, ultimately this is our goal. Our goal is to have 9 buses working quite well. ABCD was just indication. We want to have 9 buses, and 5 buses will be dedicated to Armour. And out of those 5 buses, only 3 will be tiered. And we want to tier only kids who do not live very far away, so that it's not take too much time. And we create 2 routes dedicated only to Cherry, so that those routes will transport kids who live further and may take much longer. And then we need to have 2 reserves drivers in case any of these is absent or something is sick or something like that. So we'll have 9 drivers and 9 buses, but only 2 buses that will be spare buses in case something happens. Now there's an issue now at Oak is becoming more and more. The situation at Oak is very, very critical. Remember, first students told us at the beginning of the school year that they had only 4 drivers out of for 9 routes. So that's why they canceled Cherry. And they moved the 4 drivers to Oak because Oak needed only 4 drivers, 4 routes, while Cherry needed 5. So since the beginning of the school year, they were not really, I mean, again, they increased the costs by 20%, by 40%. Okay, the costs. But out of the 4 routes, only 2 were running. The other 2 almost never run. And now I've heard that the last week or so, or 2 weeks, they're only 1 running, which is really really a problem. I don't know what's wrong with these guys, what game they're playing. And when I talk to my colleagues, superintendent, head of school, it's almost the same thing. I have heard one who was very, very disappointed and very disappointed. So, which is it's a problem. As we're trying to resolve Cherry, Oak is becoming, and then unfortunately, some of the kids, like last year, remember bus number 99 and 4, all those kids were kids, minority. Those buses used to talk about minority students. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Any question about the transportation?
No, no one?
So for the academic program, School Improvement Day focus on immersion or Eureka. Our new program of math is training for Eureka math and reading. At this point, we have only 3 teachers not here yet. So still working on their visas. One should have been here a long, long time ago because it was hired much earlier. The 2 others are coming from France, but needed to renew their passport. If they had a passport issue, so I think it's done. And hopefully they'll be here soon. So September is the testing. The KOF is kindergarten required testing, NWA. We did it. Dyslexia also screening is a mandatory twice or 3 times a year. Has been completed the first time. Then the data have been being analyzed and done by teachers. Those are mandatory testing, except for NWA, but that we use for external testing. So we also have the principal's coffee for 3 buildings. It's an opportunity for principal to meet with parents and talk about what's going on in their building and listen and answer their questions. There was good attendance and good discussions. One thing we have talked about also is making sure that we have an aggressive outreach for all parents to attend those principals' coffee. Air purifiers have been all installed in all the 3 buildings. They're working. And after school program support and clubs have started. Next month, in November 1st, teachers will be visiting schools. It's part of our PD plan. Every year, if possible, our teachers will go and visit other schools and talk about it and learn about it. So it's part of what we do. Any question about anything? We'll move forward.
Nothing? All right. I just have a couple of things. One, talking about the air purifiers installed, and I know at the last board meeting, while we were meeting, one of the, and we've had parents speak on this. One of the parents was helping at Oak, and I know Mr. Diata then left the board meeting and went back and worked on that. And we did acknowledge their help on the social media accounts, but just want to again acknowledge that help from Stephanie Cole, and I'm sure plenty of other parents. I don't know why I'm losing my voice, so sorry about that. But that help and that engagement from the parents on that's really great. We had talked last time about the our sponsor, SLU, doing the evaluation. It's been completed, but presenting that to the board, that's been moved to our November board meeting. We were trying to align it with their on-site visit and with Mr. Bang being in Phoenix for this conference. We moved that to November, so that is still coming. And then if anybody is having a problem, I know some people, and we don't have very many virtual board meetings anymore, but I know that some people were having problems with the link. And I don't know if it's different in emails or when you look on the phone. So if anybody's having problem, you're not seeing that link down in your notes section or up top in the, where the meeting is section, just let me know and I'll send a separate thing to you so that you're not panicked at 5:59. And that's all I have. All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, everyone. This was really, really good, really informative. Lots of good discussion. So